So shall we start?
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you are
audible.
On this beautiful afternoon, I, Smriti, I is pleased to welcome each and every one of you to a vibrant webinar. The practices Indian education system can adopt from leading countries in education. Hope you are all doing fine. The world is literally helpless before the threat of virus. Still, the life must go on. Here, today we are gathered virtually to enrich ourselves with new thoughts and ideas. Let us begin today's meeting. A great philosopher once said, the function of the prayer is not to influence God, but rather to change the nature of one's who prayers. Let us pause for a while for the prayer. Sanila, please. Thank you, Sanla.
Thank you,
Officially, meeting starts with welcome address. May I have the privilege to invite Mrs. Pratibha Pais to deliver welcome address. Pratibha, please.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. A warm good afternoon to one and all. Dear all, going to Finland and studying in those schools will be every student's dream if they came to know the school starts when they are 7 years old. With only 9 years of compulsory education, the Finnish children had the option to choose when to study or not after ninth grade or after 16 years of age. Like that, Indian education system can adopt many good things from around the globe. Today's session of Insight in Depth deals with this area. The practices of Indian education system can adopt from leading countries in education. Hearty welcome to one and all to the 8th session of Insight in Depth, the invited talk series initiated by the research wing of Theophilus Training College, conducted on all Fridays 2:30 p.m. And the duty bestowed upon me is to welcome each one of you to this session. First and foremost, I would like to invite our beloved principal, Dr. K.Y. Bandit. He is a role model for the whole Theophilus family, who always inspired us through his creativity, academic and administrative leadership, and his lovable and caring nature. We welcome you, sir, to this session. Dr. Juju John, our research coordinator, is such a dynamic person who always motivates us with his magic motivational speeches, positive thoughts, and enthusiasm. Warm welcome, sir, to this session. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome our guest speaker, Professor Umesh Chandra Vashishtha, the most popular teacher in the University of Lucknow. He is a professor of education and former head and dean. His expertise has been utilized by various universities like University of Delhi, University of Jammu, University of Baroda, Kota Open University, and many more. And moreover, he contributed in the development of more than 40 films as script writer, editor, translator, moderator, subject expert, etc. And recently, he was awarded with Shikshak Samman by Government of UP. He will be introduced in detail by my fellow researcher, Akansha. Sir, with great pleasure, I welcome you to this session. Next, I would like to invite all the research supervisors from various colleges, academicians, teacher educators who always cooperate and support with us with their presence. We welcome you all with great pleasure and respect. Last but not least, I would like to invite my fellow research scholars who are the part and parcel of this institution for making every talk series a successful one with their presence and program coordination. A warm welcome to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pratibha ma'am. We are eager to know more about our resource person. For that, I would like to invite Mrs. Akanksha Prajapati to introduce today's resource person. Akanksha, please.
Good afternoon, honorable dignitary participants. It's my tremendous honor and pleasure to introduce our invited talk. We are indeed privileged to have a noted educationist and an eminent scholar amongst us, Professor Umesh Chandra Vashishtha, sir, former Lucknow, total of as lecturer, reader, and professor in Departments of Education, Universities of Delhi, Indore, and Lucknow. A great educationist, he has been an outstanding scholar with 2 gold medals for topping in MEd and MA, besides this distinction in under his supervision, 33 PhDs have been successfully awarded and 7 are under progression. He has been supervised more than 20 projects, out of which 10 were of national. He has attended and organized several. Yes. Hello.
Your voice is not clear. Sometimes it's like.
Akamshka, kindly close your video and give audio only, please.
Yes, sir.
Close your video and give the audio only.
Sir, my voice is audible now?
It's clear now. Carry on, please.
Hello. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, honorable dignitaries and dear participants. It's my tremendous honor and pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's Inside In-Depth Invited Talks. We are indeed privileged to have a noted educationist and an eminent scholar amongst us, Professor Umesh Chandra Vashishtha sir, former Head and Dean Department of Education, University of Lucknow. He has a total of 38 years of teaching experience as lecturer, reader, and professor, departments of education, universities of Delhi, Indore, and Lucknow. Along with being a great educationist, he has been an outstanding scholar with 2 gold medals for topping in MEd and MA besides in BEd. Under his supervision, 33 PhDs have been successfully awarded and 7 are under progression. He has supervised more than 20 projects, out of which 10 were of national level. He has attended and organized several conferences and workshops and seminars, and has delivered more than 150 extensional lectures and talks. He visited California University, USA for developing an MOU for collaboration in teacher education, and has also visited universities in Minneapolis, Texas, and New York. Due to the limitations of the time, let me mention few of his remarkable achievements to mark his towering personality. He has served as professional and advisory expertise at various state and central bodies like UGC, NAC, CBS, universities, colleges, and schools. He has been a visiting faculty for various institutions like Case Baroda, NCTE, NAC, NCERT, NUPA, ICSSR. He is a member of NCTE New Delhi and NAC evaluation panel for teacher education institutions in India. He is a founder director at Center for Study, Center for Generation of Knowledge, Institution of Rural Education and Management at University of Lucknow. He has been awarded the Best Teacher Award from University of Lucknow, Sikshak Shri Award from State Government Uttar Pradesh, Shiksha Samman at National Seminar at ABI College, Agra. He has also been as excellent teacher by CIE, Department of Education, University of Delhi. Shiksha Shri Award by Society for Education and Environment, Chennai. It is our proud privilege to have him as our guest speaker for today's talk. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Akamsha ma'am. Hope you are all hunger for the treasure of knowledge. So once again, I welcome you, sir, to this webinar. Sir, please, over to you.
Thank you very much, the one and all. I feel honored, and it's a privilege to talk to you people. Kerala, I am connected in more than one ways. Kerala, they say, is the God's own country. And my uncle, a real uncle, elder brother of my father, settled in Kerala in 1950s. So it is more than dozen times I have gone to Kerala to my relatives meet there. Besides, I have visited many parts of Kerala, and Kerala is dear to my heart. That is true. The topic which I decided in consultation with Dr. Akanksha, Madam Akanksha, she is yet to complete her doctorate. The practices Indian education system should adopt from leading countries in education. In fact, after deciding the topic, I thought and planned and decided to limit myself to, by and large, American education. Let me tell you, friends, at the very onset. I'll dividing my talk in 2-3 main captions. First is the Indian context, the Indian system of education. Second, the sources of my information, or say my talking to you. And the third part, the American education. And from this American education under three heads: primary, secondary, and tertiary. And after that, the lessons we can learn, some say points we have. Though UGC says 1 hour is a basic duration for talk, and your total time limit has been 1 hour, and within this 1 hour, say about 20 minutes have been spent in preliminaries. It is 2:46 in my watch. Anyway, I'll try to do justice with the topic. First of all, the Indian education system. When I talk,
Excuse me,
sir,
sir. Sir, 1 second. Sir, you can take one. Sir, you can take 1 hour, and we'll conclude by 4 o'clock only, sir. Please, sir.
thank you.
After your presentation, 1 hour, we'll have a small discussion,
Okay,
and we'll conclude exactly at 4
I'll
o'clock.
honor that. Thank you very much. I feel honored again. First of all, the Indian education system. In fact, only yesterday when I was talking to Professor Ashish Srivastava, Professor Head and Dean, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, he questioned the reverse way. He even questioned me and said that ideally the topic should have been the practices Indian education system can give to leading countries of the world. It should have been just reverse. India has a lot to give, which we have forgotten. He was emphasizing on that. So, doing justice with his discussion, I have included 8 or 9 points. The Indian Gurukul system of education, if you go through, in fact, my own experience with my students is that generally they do not read the original texts, and that's the basic problem with even my PhD students, and that's what I have been trying all the time. The classic book, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, R.K. Mukherjee, Ancient Indian Education, in detail talks about the Gurukul system of education, the Vedic system of education, the Upanishadic system of education, the treasure of Vedas, in fact, teachings, issues, and the styles of reading, writing through the seers and sages, through the practices which were observed in ancient India. As a matter of fact, the Indian culture itself, someone says, what is Indian culture? The other answers, it is agriculture. Still, they say that, I don't know what is the exact data, 70% of India resides in villages. The traditions, values, the Indian system, for example, the teacher-pupil relationship is still, whatever is left, is still one area India can teach the whole world. However, the issue is the magnificent past and the glorified ancient Indian education system, of course, through all currents, invasions, be it Muslim invasion or British invasion or the European invasions, or even whatever we are doing after 1947, getting the independence, is in fact a great lesson to learn from. I'm just reminded of one Britland Committee report, 1987 by UNO. The aims of education they talked of: if somebody has got through Indian Vedas, you will say that it is merely just a copy of the Rigvedic hymns and their teachings. However, if we look to the present, whether it is primary education or secondary education or higher education, the present system, whether it is in Kerala or Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or Maharashtra or Karnataka or Kerala, Kashmir, whatever area, it's in turmoil. It's, I would say, the validity is at stake. It has done more damages than benefits. I'm sorry, I'm a strict, I'm critic of the present Indian education system at all levels. Here I'm reminded of a saying by a noted economist of the world, E.F. Schumacher. He wrote one book. Of course, he wrote many after that. The one classic book which is read world over. The guide for the the small is beautiful.
Beautiful.
There he says, today man is being destroyed by the inner conviction of his uselessness, and no amount of economic growth can compensate for the same. If I just replace the word no amount of economic growth with no amount of education growth, it would read, today the society is being destroyed by the inner conviction of our uselessness, and no amount of educational growth can compensate for the same. I feel it necessary to tell one more thing. At one time in 1972, Hoshangabad Science Teaching Project, when it was launched in Madhya Pradesh, the project people, they went to Chief Secretary Mr. B.D. Sharma, Chief Secretary Education Madhya Pradesh. They talked to him and asked for the permission to start and launch a Hoshangabad Science Teaching Project, HSTP. Mr. B.D. Sharma talked for 1 hour, discussed, came to a lot, and he said outrightly he gave approval. The people, HSTP people, were thinking that it will take months and months to get approval. We'll write an application, it will be through, and it will be done, and it will be processed, and then there will be questions and answers, that, and final. But within 1 hour, when next day these people came for getting the papers of approval, when the papers were there in their hand, they asked, sir, we are surprised that you have done this just in 1 hour. How come is it? The reply is simply wonderful. He said, our education system at this level is so much ruined that you cannot ruin it further. And here I say with the strong conviction that Indian system of education has been so much ruined today that any dent is not going to ruin it further, because it has been ruined to the maximum. Anyway, this was just the background in which I'll be talking. The points which I'll be raising now are basically they emanate from my visits to America. In fact, as back at 2007, I went to California State University, Long Beach. There I went twice to develop a memorandum of understanding for working together with the University of Lucknow Department of Education. We worked for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So there I went. Then I went to Minnesota. In fact, my son and daughter-in-law and their 2 children are based now. They are living in America only for 7, 8 years. So first they were in Minnesota, so I went there, Minneapolis, the capital of Minnesota state. Now they are living in Texas, so Austin, the capital of Texas, I went there. Besides that, I visited Europe 14 countries in total I had visited, but I'm not remembering all of them. Now I'll say Britain, France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Netherlands. And there I had a chance to see different aspects, including education. So from this background, I'll be talking to you. Of course, my teacher, I should remember at this point of time, Professor Kshanika Bose at Department of Education, Central Institute of Education, Delhi University. She used to teach us about comparative education, and that was the point where I was curious to know. Friends, you must have seen, if you just type in Google, why Finland education is best. And as the organizer was saying in the beginning, Finland is a very, very small country, and maximum, say, economic support it gets from educational tour. That's an interesting point. In Finland, a child is absolutely, I do not mean 100%, but he is free to do whatever he wants, whether at home or at a school, which in India we cannot even imagine. In India, for example, I am again reminded of a similar kind of a thing. I don't know whether these books are there available in Hindi, in this Malayalam or not. I'm afraid they are not. There was a gentleman, Gujubhai Vadheka. If you put the name in Google, you will find that he was a kind of contemporary of Gandhiji. He has written more than 100 books, of which 17 or 18 are of pedagogical importance to us. One classic book he wrote, and NCRT made a film on that, Deva Swapna. Deva means divine dream. There he says, in fact, in one of the other books, he says, schools are the temples, teachers are the priests, books, curriculum, and accessory, these things are the say material to worship, and student is the God. So the child God is worshipped by priest teacher in the temple school, and this whole process is education. What Gijubhai said is practically being done in Finland, and that is why I would say Finland education is the best. Otherwise also, the child rights a child enjoys in Europe, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, and America, of course, are unique. Any child, when he goes to the school, the first thing they teach in formal or semi-formal manner is to complain to 112. 112 is their number. In India also it is now partially operative. Any kind of misdeed, they feel there is a misdeed by father or mother or sister or brother, they are supposed to report at 112. There are lots many incidences where Indian parents try to bully their children, and children reported their act to 112. There are many incidents. If you just put it on Google, you will find it. We always talk of education for happiness. Happiness is a new, I would say, kind of a share whose price is very high in Indian education market today. But shall I tell you that as back as just only 2012, a very small, insignificant country, Bhutan, was at just the second highest happiness index country with second highest happiness index. My conviction is we talk too much theoretical, but in practice, we are hypocrites. We bully our children on the name of discipline and Indian culture. We destroy the childness of the children. And that's the problem. We have coined so many slogans: happiness, salvation, well-being, humanism, man-making education, inner potential. If we go to the definition of education by Gandhi, Tagore, Arvind, and Vivekanand, they are ideal, but the problem is they have not yet been put into practice. As back as 1951, Mudaliar Commission talked of vocational education, but so far Indian education in real practice, vocational education, not in its true form. Gandhiji also talked of craft and basic education, but it is yet to see its implementation in true spirit. Switzerland, for last 50, 60, 70 years has been talking of, not talking, practicing craft education since from class 6. Other factors which I will see: freedom, autonomy, punishment, child rights, even political interference into the system of education. We'll see India is on the negative side and Europe is and America is on the positive side. It's an interesting fact to see the role a teacher plays in the class in European and American countries and in India. Entirely different, unimaginable. There are no hierarchy system, practically no hierarchy. There, on paper there may be, in rank and file there may be. I generally say in Indian higher education system also, practically when a teacher goes to a class, whether he's a lecturer or a reader or a professor, or in modern term, assistant professor or associate professor or professor, they are just a teacher in the class. But the practical aspect of this is visible in American and European system of education. The American system of education, in fact, there was, I remember again, there is a context at one point of time in 1979, I think, in Department of Education, Delhi University, there was a discussion going on. Knowledge, cognitive, conative, and affective, another principle. I'll come to American and Indian implications, of course. The relative importance of cognitive domain in education, the conative domain and education, and the affective domain and education. One of my teachers said that it is 85% cognitive, 10% conative, and 5% affective. The other teacher stood up and said that no, and I'm with him, in fact. It is 85% affective domain, 10% conative domain, and 5% cognitive domain. Cognitive domain has to follow. Affective domain has to lead. The affective domain basically represents emotional balance, emotional quotient, personality, well-being, happiness, and all other factors. If you should go to an American class, any class from class 1 or even pre-nursery class to the top master's degree class, you will hardly find a teacher lecturing. When I was at Indore University, we used to practice OLM other than lecture method. In fact, we developed a group that all teaching learning process will be done by other than lecture method, OLM, other than lecture method. That thing is being practiced in a beautiful manner at all levels in America. So one big thing, if I say, one major thing which Indian education can learn from there is, teacher is not the theoretical master. Rather, as per Dewey's philosophy, I'll talk later on also, teacher is a friend, a philosopher, and a guide, not a boss, not a master. The British system, in fact, this thing we have copied from the Britishers, where at one point of time, Mr. Michael Foot, I remember, was the education minister in Britain. And there was a bill in their parliament by some members to stop corporal punishment. Mr. Michael Foot stood up and said that no, corporal punishment will not stop. I do not want my future British citizens to be spoiled. It will continue. That's why British system, of course, but no, not American or European. You will not find this thing in Finland or Italy or France, never, or even Australia, or for that matter, America, of course. Okay, the joy of learning. Everything has to be learned in a joyful manner. That joy, the affective domain, occupies the primary seat in the process of learning. From joyful learning, if the child feels like he'll do certain activities, and by doing activities, he'll automatically get knowledge. So knowledge is a simple byproduct of working through emotionally fulfilling style. Knowledge is not the thing to be given the first place. Rather, happiness, well-being, the joy, and the joy of learning should help me to do whatever I want, which will give me knowledge. At times I think that when I'm a little depressed, that Indian education system maybe in my lifetime will never get the wisdom to continue with either the ancient wisdom or the modern Western positive aspects. Still, of course, I do agree there are top institutions like Mirambika. I would say, I don't know whether many of you know about it or not. In Delhi, there is Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and within this Aurobindo Ashram, there is a parallel institution known as Mirambika. And I feel proud with my whatever experience I have got. Mirambika is one of the best institutions of the world. Maybe there's no parallel to Mirambika all over the globe, whether it is America or Britain or Europe or New Zealand or Australia. Starting from class 1 in Mirambika, student is the boss, the learner is the boss. And they do not have a hierarchical system. Even the hierarchy of class 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 or 8 or 9 or not 10 or not there. At one point of time, Central Board of Secondary Education gave for the first time autonomy to Mirambika. You just send the names, we will give them 10th pass degree, 10th pass certificate. In Mirambika, the child decides the curriculum. What I will learn, when I will learn, how will I learn, from whom I will learn, in what manner or where I will learn. Everything is decided by the child till 2020. So this kind of thing is a dream yet to be fulfilled in India. Well, coming back to now the primary system, the secondary system, and the higher education system, the lessons we can get from by and large from America. As I said, even in class 1, learning is by activities, games, and plays. The total organization is entirely different from the political system. They have educational districts. They call school districts. We have political districts, yes, fine, but they have school districts. And in one school district, there is one director of education. About 3 years back, I had a chance to befriend a professor. He's, in fact, his permanent job is that of the director of education in one of the school districts of New York at New Paltz. New Paltz is a 3-hour-long journey from New York. I had a privilege to live at his place for about 1 week. I lived with him, and every day we used to go to different places, including schools and universities. Since he was director of education, we had a chance to visit. I had a chance to visit at least 5 to 8 schools there, rather more. The school director, every school director has maximum 12 schools under him. There may be 5 schools or there may be maximum 12. And that constitutes a school district. I was surprised, this man, professor, he is also an adjunct professor in Danbury University, let me tell you, nearby Danbury University. He is a primary teacher, basically. Then we came up as a director of education in his school district. But he is also an adjunct professor of education in Danbury University. This thing is just impossible in India. Can you think of a primary teacher who has taught for, say, 13, 20 years in India, and he is also a professor of education in Indian University or Kerala University for that matter? I'm surprised, no. Anyway, the beauty was this gentleman, Dr. Swerdloff, Matthew Swerdloff was his name, is his name. Professor Matthew Swerdloff knew the name of each and every student of all schools under his jurisdiction. Naturally, he knew the names of all teachers. In fact, he had a small room in every school. He may visit 2 or 3 schools daily. His work was to visit the schools only. Not to, he has said, my office is these schools only. I work on computer. Every school I have a computer. So wherever I go, my computer is there. I can work there, whatever I want. One day what happened was, there was the teacher, one teacher was not there. And we went to the school and the school people said that so-and-so teacher has not come. Swerdloff said, fine, I'll teach there. We went to the class and teaching means he sat down on the floor and it was a primary school and he had activities with the students there and there. That was his teaching. Teaching means doing something with learners. Teaching does not mean saying goody, big things. I'm reminded of my teacher, Professor R.P. Sharma from Delhi University. He used to talk of a theory of education which is prevalent in India, and that is he used to call it Jagmag theory. Teacher is the all-knower, and the student is a person who does not know anything. Teacher knows everything, student knows nothing. Teacher is the jug, student is the mug. And the jug will fulfill all these mugs together. And in the examination, the mug is also a sharp-minded fellow. the mug will vomit everything on the examination answer sheet. In Hindi, we say, Tera tujhko arpan. I took it from you, I am giving back to you. You know, and God knows I don't know anything now. And that's the fact. Well, as I said, all learning is through activities, games, plays, projects. One more thing I found, very peculiar. I did not, in fact, I talked to about maybe because my granddaughter is also going to, granddaughter and my grandson is also going to different schools I have been seeing through this period. I have not found a single teacher in my life so far. For my 10 visits, 9 or 10 visits to USA, I did not find a single teacher who was talking negative of any student. They never talk in negative terms. They always praise their children. They can, in fact, what we term as a stigma or a negative aspect of child, they turn it into a positive aspect. In India, we say he does not speak. In America, they say he's thoughtful. So total paradigm is changed, is upside down. As I said, not a single teacher was talking in negative terms for every child. Every child. He said, yeah, this many positive aspects, this many positive, this many positive. And they always believe with the situation, the Indian culture or Indian philosophical thing that every child is unique. Teachers are always positive and optimistic. And when I talked about this aspect to the child, to a teacher, we were just sitting over a cup of coffee and the teacher said, I said, what is your definition of optimism, Mr. Teacher? She replied in a beautiful manner, sir, an optimist is one who will sit with a sieve under a tap of water. The tap of water is on. Maybe someday it will turn into ice and my sieve will work. Similarly, in my class, maybe someday the child will get the positive aspects. I don't worry. I'll just try. That's all. Caring for children, personal attachment. I was surprised that the teacher, my grandson's teacher, she knew everything, that grandparents are there, his bua, father, sister, she had come, this is happening. Of every child, they knew what is happening in their homes. They are in fact overburdened. They are very, very mentally busy. And teaching profession is a very, very, that way, a good salary profession. Salary also, they pay very high salary to primary teachers. In fact, in primary and the higher education, there is less difference. Of course, now one thing I should tell you, interesting, the American system, they have compulsory education system. If you are going to a new place or a new state or a new district, it's a binding by American law that you will have to send your child to the school. Within 3 months, they give a period of 3 months. Even if there is a natural calamity, it does not matter. But within 3 months, you will have to send your child to the school. But on the name of autonomy and freedom, suppose you say that we will make a system, we will make a personal private education system at home for him. You will have to come to the nearest school and give it in writing. I am managing private education of my child at so and so. And I will be held responsible for all his education. Then only he will be allowed to have private education at home. Having private education home is a very costly affair in America. Similarly, you will find in the whole of America, there are very few public schools. Public means private. The Indian Public school, they call the government schools. They are not even 10%. Schools are private schools. But private schools are very, very costly. A common person cannot afford private school education. On the other hand, the public school system or the government school system, school education is free up to class 12th. So it is in real sense of the term free and compulsory primary education. And in this sense, the private schools generally people do not prefer. All Indian families, because the government schools are so wonderful. They are so unique. They have such a competitive spirit among themselves. You will be surprised to know that the rates or the cost of houses depends on the quality of a school in America. If some school, they have a ranking of say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-star, 4-star. There is a 5-star school. All houses near that school are highly, they are of a very high cost. And there is no school, in fact, I visited an area of say 50 kilometer by 50 kilometer. In Austin, I did not find a school below 3-star. And even these 3-star schools are given support system, warning, this and that. And within 2 years, they have to come to 4 or 5 stars. Maybe a 5-star school will come to 4 or 3. Does not matter. They'll again boost it to get it 5-star thing. I still remember only this year's incidents. My granddaughter was to be admitted in a government school. And there was a huge wait list of 700 people in Blackwell School. I still remember. It was only this September that a letter came that she has been admitted into this school because this school is a 5-star school. Schools are rated. Schools are given support system. Schools are cared for. Naturally, in turn, the teachers care. So it's a beautiful and a unique system of primary education where everybody clamors to send their children to the best schools, which they are by and large the government ones. Secondary education, if I come, secondary education, the basic features are, first of all, they are all learning is project based. Lecture based learning is very minimum. Even the seating arrangements in the school is not like Indian system. They always sit in a circle. They always face, the teacher sits, it becomes a part of circle. Again, as I said, there is no hierarchy in school. There may be hierarchy in pay or rank, but in class, every teacher is just a teacher. Self-learning is emphasized more. Teacher is a friend, philosopher, and a guide in true sense of the term. Teacher has to discuss. Teacher discusses the issue, the matter. Question answer method, discussion method, debate method, presentation method, project method, self-learning method, they are all implemented. And at the end of the class, I saw teacher talks, okay, what shall we do as a home assignment? As a matter of fact, the home assignment is also evolved by a common discussion with the learners. Vocational education is given from 6 onwards. There is one more. Of course, I'll come to community colleges, that I'll deal later on. One more thing which is very important. Every student knows that school education is free. I am entitled to get school education up to class 12th. And this 12th class, 12-year schooling is final and the terminal learning for me from the state side. Very interesting feature of American, even Britain and European education. The parents know, in India also this is now a usual phenomenon, that all parents know that after 12th the child will not be with us and he'll be going to other institution, other institute to learn for further learning. In India it is always at the parents' expense, but no, in whole of America, Europe and Britain, except for a few cases like Indians and few communities, all learners, if they want to pursue higher education, they will have to do it at their own cost. The majority of students after 12th will leave their parents' home and start living separately. Start living of their own. They'll start earning naturally. So the school training includes the element of earning while learning also. Vocational training is given to the learners in such a way that every child decides by study when he is in standard 11th and 12th. He finally decides what I am going to do, what job I am going to do. And after 12th, he is very sure, I will leave my parents' house. I'll start earning myself. I will start living a life of my own. We Indians, by way of Indian culture, may find fault with this. I also, actually, I'm not very much in favor of this, but the beauty of this is, in Indian context, our children generally they do BA, BSc, BCom, then MA, MSc, MCom, then PhD, this and that, and still they are not able to write an application properly. And everything since is done by the cost of the parents, from the parents' pocket. So they never become independent, self-dependent. That's one problem with Indian education. On the name of caring, on the name of love and affection, the Indian system of education suffers from this one great problem, that Indian graduates are not self-reliant. They cannot do anything of their own. They are neither proficient in language, nor proficient in any vocation, nor psychologically confident enough to lead a life of their own, though they may attain the age of 18 by coming out after BA, BSc or BCom. That's one great drawback of Indian system of education. So when the American student knows that after passing class 12th, I'll be going out of my house, I'll have my own way of life. On the other hand, now I come to say gradually to higher education. Higher education is very, very costly, very extreme costly. Even the Indian university professors of India today, they cannot afford to send their children from their own, say, savings to an American institution, even in BA Part 1 or BSc Part 1. Friends, you will be surprised to know that by and large, the average fees of American BA first year course is Indian 16 lakhs rupees. Almost 16 lakhs. Add to it the expenditure of living and eating and books and everything. Of course, they have many learning resources in the form of libraries, books, and this software and the computer and all whatnot. But higher education in America is so costly that even 10% of people immediately do not go into higher education. They may have a little, say, earning. They may live an independent life. They may work in the society, in the hotel, or as a bearer, or anywhere. They may have their savings. And when they have enough savings, they'll deposit the fees and get admission into universities. That's a unique feature. As I said, high fees, so only a very few can afford. Here there is an interesting, say, feature which is anti-school system in America, where the best of schools in America are the government schools. In universities, the best of universities in America are the private universities, just reverse. Government universities are free, few, very few. Fees is comparatively low, but even government schools, they do not get, government universities, they do not get full grant from the state, very small grant. Everything they have to manage. Their control is in one way or the other. Say in one way or the other, the government has a say in the government schools, but private education, government universities, but private universities, you will not have a say. Let me tell you, the maximum Nobel Prizes in America are won by, are in fact the teachers and professors of private universities. The top universities, Harvard University, Boston University, Berkeley University, they are all Texas University, they are all private universities. Private universities are in fact doing excellent work in America in terms of rewards or say patents or Nobel Prizes. The students, when they come after, in fact, parting their saving and they deposited at a fees to the university, they are naturally very serious. They are very much concerned. So they try to earn even while learning. And that is a feature with almost all the universities in America. Most of the students, they get job, part-time job, either at the, in fact, in the very form, when they fill up the form, they say, would you like to have university part-time job? University job given by the university, yes or no? If you say yes, it is the duty of the university to search for a part-time job for you, whether it may be in the library or it may be in the hotel or the university guest house. Guest houses are not there. University, say, buildings, whatever kind of job. So students are serious, students pay attention, students try to learn everything, students use library to a maximum. Learning is through seminars, discussions, term papers. By and large, the duration of BA, BSc, BCom courses 4 years. PG courses, they call it graduate and the postgraduate. Postgraduate is 2 years, but this is not fixed. Even this is flexible. I know a friend of mine whose son went to America and he was adjudged as one of their best student. And doing BA, BSc, he was allowed to do PhD. And within that, he was given honorary MSc. They can cut all their barriers to allow a student to get a degree as per his or her caliber. Research papers, patents, term papers are the ways of learning. Of course, seminars and questions and assignments also. If I sum up, friends, the message which we can draw from, by and large, the American education. One thing is individuality. They say about American people in terms of democracy, they say an American will cross an ocean to get his right for vote. An American will cross an ocean to get his right for vote, but it is up to him whether he may or may not cross the street for exercising his right to vote. So getting it right is very important. Individuality is respected. One more thing, very typical, when I went to many universities, I used to see, which is not found in India all the time. In fact, we in India, maybe, I don't know, I'll not say it is genetic, no, I'll not. But environmentally, we are too much discriminating, too much judgmental. The earliest reference I find that when the seer Ashtavakra entered the darbar of King Janak, Ashtavakra seer's body was, say, twisted at 8 points. That's why he was known as Ashtavakra. The officials of his darbar started laughing, and he rebuked them. So laughing at other people, black or white, fat or thin, tall or small, if you allow me to say, this is part of our Indian modern culture today. In America, every time I went, I found a new thing. This new thing repeated itself all the time. A person may be too fat, too tall, too small, too dark. Nobody will say anything. In fact, there is a definition in their law. In India, we are accustomed to stare at. Stalking and staring is strictly banned in America. In American universities, I found that they practice the law. If you are constantly staring at a person for more than 8 or 9 seconds, you may be charged. You may be prosecuted. And so how will you know that I am staring towards him or her? 8 seconds, 9 seconds. Camera will tell. The camera around me will tell whether I am staring at her or him, whether he's too black or too fat or too tall or too small or too whatever he may be. So the individual differences, they are their power, not their weakness, as a matter of fact. So respecting individuality is one of the core, say, values or it's a feature of American education. Self-responsibility. I found there that if at customs, whatever I'll say, they'll take it as truth. But if it is found that whatever I said was not true, they have the right to prosecute me again. They'll respect your individuality. What you will say will be okay. But whatever you have written, whatever you have said, you are responsible for yourself. So whether it is the home task or the school assignment or the whatever doing in the school or the college or the university, they emphasize on becoming self-reliant, self-responsible for whatever you do. Teachers there are of many kinds, many kinds. One is a guest lecturer, guest teacher. Others are part-time teachers. Others are adjunct teachers. Even a barber on the street can come as a part-time teacher to a school or a college or a university and can teach. The recruitment at all levels, primary, secondary, and higher, is very tough. But once it is done, you get the respect, all respect. So there is another, the permanent teacher. There are no permanent teachers in America. They are known as term teachers. Term teachers means a teacher at the primary or the secondary or higher education or a university is appointed, say, for 5 years. After 5 years, he will have to again apply. He will be again interviewed. And he will be asked, what have you done in last 5 years? Nobody is permanent. A teacher might have taught some university for 30 years, but at the 31st year, he may be turned out because his output is not good. So performance-based appraisal is a key feature of American education. The permanent teachers are known as term teachers. In last 50 years, before Trump, if I say, America is still, gross national product is highest in the whole world. In India, we were suffering from brain drain. America gained it through brain gain. They will give all kinds of facilities, all kinds of lurings. If you are doing the best, they are not going to lose you at any cost. That's again a brain gain is a special feature of America. I know Dr. Hargovind Khurana, his nephew, was a schoolmate of mine. And Dr. Hargovind Khurana, when he had got the Nobel Prize, his nephew was asked to say a few words about him. And he said that my uncle requested for a simple lab for doing research in India, and the authorities, Indian authorities, did not, they refused to give even a lab to him. So Americans know how to respect their talent. Indians, they do not know. Interestingly, we are responsible for it. In India, you will find a typical paradox. In India, you will see that the best qualified teachers are in government jobs. The topper is appointed by the government on the basis of marks and merit and written test or whatever it is. The public school or the private school in India, they get the remainder, they get the leftover. So the first rate qualified people are into government jobs, second rate are into private jobs. But still, the Indian private public schools are doing much better in terms of output than the government school. Interesting. The best teachers, the least output. Secondary teachers, much better output. Typical paradox. Accountability is again a key feature of American education. American people, they care and they held you responsible, held you accountable. That is why they have the term called term teachers. American people, they respect the core values of the society. American people, which lesson we can learn. Every child, every student which comes into my B.Ed class or a BA, BSc, BCom class or a school or a primary school is to be respected as an individual. This core value is in their system. I remember a 9-year-old son saying to his father in America that I know you cannot beat me, neither you can bully me, because if you will do, I'll go to 112. Therefore, behave properly. It is only an American student who can say to a father or a teacher that behave properly. In India, we cannot even think of saying these words. Anyway, these were the basic issues. I tried to put these things in a brief. Of course, they are not. I have not touched many aspects: the administrative aspect, the financial aspect, the management aspect, the say funding aspect of universities and schools. Anyway, I tried to do justice. As a matter of fact, very frankly, I should say that it's only yesterday that I planned the lecture. I had forgotten that I have to deliver. I have to talk to you people, and the shortcomings are mine. I'll be sorry for that. You tolerated me so far. Thank you very much. Welcome. Now for the questions.
Thank you, sir, for this thoughtful session. No doubt you all enriched with this session. It is the time for clarifying your doubts and asking questions. You may please ask through chat box or can directly ask your questions. Thank you. You may please.
Good afternoon, sir. I am so much impressed with the energy and enthusiasm that you have shown in elaborating your viewpoints with respect to the liberal education system of the developed nations, but particularly focusing on American system of higher education, highlighting many of the things regarding the freedom, joyfulness, and the respect, the individual respect for each student, and the divergent conditions of working arrangement. You have mentioned about one of the schools as an example from the New Delhi, that is from the you mentioned one school. Would you be able to elaborate a little more on that? Aravind Ashram School. You have to unmute, sir, please.
Okay, it is Mirambika. When you go to Delhi, and from Delhi, if you go to Qutub Minar, before Qutub Minar on the left side is NCERT, National Council for Educational Research and Training, and just opposite is Shri Aurobindo Ashram. And within that Aurobindo Ashram, there are three things, as a matter of fact. The ashram, basically, and one is their school, English medium school. It is with some other school, mother's school. And the other is Mirambika. In Mirambika, of course, since I was related, I was to their management in many ways. And I was constantly, we had developed an MOU with Mirambika at Indore University for certain kind of academic collaboration. So Mirambika is my very favorite topic, and I can talk for hours and hours. But in brief, I will say their class hierarchy, they have stopped. They name their classes as Champak House, or this Champak is the name of the flower. Champak House, Rose House, and then these all the flowers name. They sometimes after 5-8 years they decide that okay, we will start having the names of our classes on the basis of river. The Ganges, the Ganges, the Yamuna, the Satluj, the Kaveri, and likewise. They do not have class 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. They have Kaveri. Kaveri means 7th class. 1. Secondly, if I say on Friday, teacher sits in the class and asks a student, what will you write you will like to study next week. They have weekly projects. One will say cycle, another will say parrot, the third will say piano. And then, okay, decide among yourselves, decide the groups. So they ask the students to make the groups. 4 students will learn cycle, 5 will learn piano, 6 will learn about the parrot, so on and so on. Their classes are never more than 20. And then she will ask them, what do you want to learn about piano or parrot or cycle? Why do you want to learn? So whatever answer a student gives, because it's a class 1 or a 2 student, class standard 2, he may not write even. So the teacher notes down, Kshitiz Verma, cycle, he wants to know this thing. These are the objectives of learning, I tell you. After that, she'll decide what you really want to do, what you have in mind, how will you do it, how you plan it. She will write it, the method. And that way, she will note down these details for every individual and every group. On Saturday, students are asked to leave. Students will have a holiday. The whole 6 or 8 hours, teacher will sit on a computer. Suppose I take piano as an example. Structure of piano, drawings of piano, musics of piano, the notes and tones of piano, manufacturers of piano, pictures of piano, material, reading material on piano. So that way, she will make a whole list. Suppose there are 20 students, 6 had taken piano, so 6 papers for piano, 5 paper for cycle, 8 paper, 6 is 4 paper for parrot, for example. On Sunday, again a holiday, Monday students will come and their first period is of games. You will be surprised. For no prayer. First prayer is game. First period is games. Everybody is busy. Nobody will be late for a game. You know the child psychology. They do not ring a bell. They have a soft music. A soft music will change. And the transition period is 5 to 10 minutes. The second period is of taking milk. So somebody says, I will first stop, I will take my turn in my game, and then only I'll go to take milk, because I take cold milk, so I can wait, I'll not go now. So 10 minutes, a 5 to 10 minute period, transition period is there, and then he comes for milk. After taking milk, they come to the class, milk. And in the class, piano person takes piano leaf, and they have discussion with the teacher. One student now will say, I will make sketches of piano. I will collect, say, paintings of piano. I will make notes of piano. I will like to learn on piano. I like to sing on piano. I like to know the history of piano. I will like to make piano. So 6 students, 6 tasks. From Monday to Thursday, they will be making their class, doing their project. On one of the days, for example, it was on Tuesday. One of the teachers was a student of mine, and with him, I said, I'm going to Connaught Place. He said, sir, I'll accompany you. Why? In your car. So he said with the student, sir, we have to go to a piano shop in Connaught Place. The teacher will accompany the student to the piano shop. I could hear a student saying, oh, you have taken parrot. I will also take parrot, but not next week. Next week, I'm going to take cycle. Next that period, I'll take parrot. Now I am okay with the piano. Then I'll take parrot, cycle, and then I'll take parrot. So that way, student decides the curriculum. This way he takes, if I theoretically I say 52 weeks, so 52 weekly projects. This way they have weekly projects, they have monthly projects, they are half yearly projects, and they are yearly projects. The syllabus, as a matter of fact, is different for each child. Teacher makes a record of every child, a register, a file, a full file. If, for example, a student had 40 projects, weekly projects, those 40 names and project and work named and the details will be there in his file. And that is his syllabus. And that is his marks. He has done wonderfully well. No fail or pass. This is one simple example. I have many more. So this is how Mirambeka people work. Student learner-based project. Teacher is a friend, philosopher, and a guide. I stop.
Thank you, sir. One question in the chat box. Can I read, sir?
Please.
What about the board exam for that children, and which board is conducting the exam?
Please don't mind. I saw a person saying, board is not for us. They are for fools. And no board exam. Why exam? I have worked every day. Everyone has tested me every day. Everybody has examined me throughout the week. My performance I showed at the end of the week to everybody. What exam? No exam. Nothing. As a matter of fact, CBST honored them without any examination. You just give us grades of these students and we will reward them the certificate. No exam. Till board. Interesting.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Dear sir,
Sir.
I am Dr. Joju from Theophilus Training College. So we would like to thank you for your outstanding talk, and we were able to witness a presentation without PPT. But your presence of mind, your smile, your body language, energy, everything is more than 100 PPTs, sir. Thanks a lot. And
Sir, George sir, I have a request to Professor Umesh Vashishtha that he has to give us a lecture on Mirambika alone on one particular week.
Okay, I'll see. Sir, let me tell you two things. Thank you very much for tolerating me. One. Number two, I am against computer education that way, the way it is being given. I am against online education. I am against PPTs. Again, these are contradictions. It was, in fact, since July 10 up to November, I had stopped giving lectures, online lectures, because I feel the offline chemistry between the learner and the teacher is simply missing in an online education system. Anyway, and so it was only Madam Akaksha's insistence that I agreed. I am not, still I will say I am not comfortable with online lectures. I do not like online lectures. Anyway, I'll see. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much for tolerating me. Thank you very much.
Sir, the teacher-pupil relationship is another thing that India can give the world, I think.
Yes.
In addition to Gurukula system, the respect for the teacher, Guru, Shishya, Bandham, the relationship is also a lesson for the world from India.
Yes, sir.
We can move on to the vote of thanks session, please, Smriti.
Yes, I'll be happy to learn goody things about me. Thank you in advance.
It is time to conclude the meeting. I call upon Mrs. Vincy Biju to propose the words of gratitude. Mrs. Vincy.
Mr. Biju, come on. Let us have good words from you.
Thank you, Smriti. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
A very warm good afternoon to one and all. Respected Principal, Dr. K.Y. Bandixter, distinguished guests for today's invited talk, honorable dignitaries, teachers, mentors, and dear participants. As you all know that it's our 8th talk series, and I, on behalf of Theophilus Training College, take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed for making this webinar a successful one. At the outset, I'm thankful to our chief guest and resource person, Professor Umesh Vashishtha, who spent his busiest time gracing the occasion. Today, we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts, and we are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. Really, sir, we have to walk miles to reach the destination. Let us work together and adapt educational practices from leading countries to make our education system a better one. Once again, I thank you, sir, for the insightful presentation of your thoughts.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome, sir. It's
Thank
my
you. With
pleasure.
your permission, I leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
It's
you
my
so much, sir.
privilege.
Thank you.
You can continue with the vote of thanks, Vinci. Please carry
Okay,
on.
sir. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. K.Y. Bandixter. Being the catalyst, he inspired us to do our best and stand as pillar of power. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by such an inspiring person. Thank you, sir, for your whole heart support. My heart goes out to thank our respected dignitaries for accepting our invitation and be part of this program. Without your kind presence, we could not have accomplished what we had dreamt for. Thanks to all the speakers for adorning the occasion and sharing their opinion today. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and shown us a new path. Next, I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our research coordinator, Dr. Jojo Johnson, for leading and motivating us. He's a noted motivational speaker and always been a source of motivation to all of us. We are thankful to you, sir, for the huge support at all times. Thank you, sir. I need to mention a special thanks to our student secretary for Theophilus Training College Research Wing, Mrs. Soumya, for all the efforts taken for organizing and coordinating the event. Thank you, Soumya, for all the efforts. Last but not least, my gratitude to all the active participants for their cooperation and patient listening. Thank you all. Once again, I want to state that we are grateful to each and every one, and thank you for being with us this afternoon. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you. Thank you all.
Before the national anthem, Benedict sir, could you announce the next week's resource person, Dr. Asha?
Sir, what may be the topic of discussion by Asha?
Sir, language proficiency and writing competencies, sir.
Okay, okay.
Very good talk.
We will get
From
a
Bombay.
very good presentation from Asha. We know Asha in many ways. She is an eloquent speaker and also he is very excellent in creative writing also. So we can expect a very good presentation next week. I request all the participants to bring at least one more participant from 2:30 to 3:45, 4 o'clock next Friday. Thank you very much.
Dear friends,
I request all the participants to have in your prayers, do remember Dr. Laji Varghese, one of our colleague and faculty member, who is was under treatment at present.
Dear friends, I too want to remind all the participants to share the link and the info about the weekly program Insight in Depth to your friends. Please try to share the experience with your friends. Let many people come and join in this wonderful venture. Thank you. Now, National Anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Once again, I extend my wholehearted thanks to all the personalities gathered here who spent their valuable time with